So welcome and good evening. Welcome to our 2024 College of Humanities and Social Sciences Seniors of Distinction ceremony. My name is Stephen Fleming and I serve as the Associate Dean for the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, and I'm also delighted to be your MC for the evening. This is undisputably one of my favorite nights of the year, and I think I speak for all of us in the college that we echo the same sentiment around how much we are happy to be celebrating all of you here today. This ceremony is dedicated to the best and the brightest graduating students in our college. There are 18 seniors being recognized tonight who have not only demonstrated academic achievement, but they've also represented their program through ideals, goals, and contributions to their department, university, and community. Before dedicating the majority of our event to the celebration of our seniors of distinction, I'd like to recognize a few members of the college leadership and other stakeholders in our student success. First, we have Dr. Nawal Lamar, Dean of the College, who you'll be hearing from in a little bit. We have Dr. Corinne Blake, Senior Associate Dean, who serves at our college in our Dean's office. Noreen Eller, Budget and Finance Coordinator, right over here, who was very much behind the scenes of our event. And we have Tina Kane, our Administrative Assistant, who was also very much supportive and behind the scenes of our event today. Patrick Massaro, Assistant Director for Career Development and Experiential Learning, he's somewhere in here or maybe out there. Will Mendez, our photographer, who you'll see seeing a lot of. He's our media specialist for our college. And ultimately, all of our faculty and staff we will be meeting throughout the evening. Finally, I'd just like to review a few logistics before we begin the program. We'll begin with remarks of welcome from our dean, and then we'll hear from our keynote speaker, who I'll be introducing shortly. And from there, we'll go right into basically presenting our seniors. We'll have a break for dinner about earlier into the program, and we'll continue with the rest of our seniors after dinner. Now I'd like to invite the Dean of the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, Dr. Nawal Lamar, up to the stage to offer her welcome remarks. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see everyone here. It's not only it's the introduction to my favorite period of time in this academic year. It's for us, it's almost the end of a hard working year. For the students, you still have a few more weeks. And grading, but it's still easier than all what we prepare for. It's also nice to see families and friends with our students. It makes me kind of feel like, yeah, we are together in this. We're not alone doing it. There are other people around you that are also helping you. Graduation is coming within, 2 weeks? And we will all look different because we'll be wearing all these lovely things. But I'm not going to say much. All I'm going to say is welcome, enjoy. This is a very enjoyable time. I remember this is our my seventh. We missed one because of COVID, if you recall. But this is a bigger, I think we have 4 more degrees. 4 more tables or degrees, and I think it's also different from what it used to be in the sense that I think the market for all of you graduating seniors is ready. Do not believe the rumors they tell you. So I want to go there. This is my mantra. Your market you are going to achieve so much in the future, given what we have experienced and the chaos of COVID, which continues. You are going to be really well placed in the market. You also will be well placed because we teach chaos. We don't teach organization. And you will be able to deal with chaos and organize it. So I wish you the best of luck. I wish you again the best of luck if you come to graduation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Amar. I am excited to be able to introduce our keynote speaker for the evening, Mr. Ricardo Dale. A liberal studies graduate of the class of 2020, Mr. Dale has centered his life around community and service to others. While at Rowan, he served as the student trustee on Rowan's Board of Trustees and led impactful change through his role. It wasn't long after graduation that Mr. Dale started engaging his community. He now sits on the Beverly City Council as one of its youngest members, and among his greatest accomplishments has been the founding of the Free All Minds nonprofit, a supportive service nonprofit organization through which he supports boys of color with graduating high school and acceptance to college and trade school. Currently, the Academy has a 100% high school graduation rate and a 100% placement rate among its participants. As many of you know, Rowan University is celebrating its centennial year. In the spirit of this celebration, Chess has invited Ricardo to serve on our Making a Difference alumni panel, which was inspired by Henry Rowan's famous quote, make a difference in this world because you live in it. Indeed, Mr. Dale has made a difference, and I couldn't think of a better person to speak to our graduating students, who I'm confident will do the same. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Ricardo Dale.
Thank you, and thank you for the introduction. It's an honor to be back here at Rowan University, where everything started for me. When I started my journey here at Rowan University, I was 18 years old, and sorry, we'll start it back. All right, well, that's one way to start. But yeah, so when I started my journey here at Rowan University, I was 18 years old, and a month prior, I was living in my friend's basement. I had no idea what I was going to do next. I didn't get accepted into any schools in the state of New Jersey. I had a horrible SAT score. I had horrible grades from high school, and I really didn't know where my life was headed. I was waking up every day and working these two jobs that I saw myself going nowhere in, and I really didn't know what life had in store for me. I started working this mentoring program called First Star Academy, and I fell in love with the kids that I was working with. A lot of the kids that I was working with, they came from similar situations as me, whether they struggled with homelessness. A lot of the kids were in a foster care system, and I saw an immediate impact in them being able to see somebody that looked like them, be able to lend them a hand. During my time working with this mentoring program, a guy named Robert Carr came to know a little bit more about my story. He heard about this kid that was just living in a basement, that had nothing but a basket of clothes to his name, that was spending his time working with these other students. And he told me that he asked himself, why would a kid in my situation take his time to want to help somebody else? He didn't completely understand it at the time, but he was amazed by just my desire to put so many other people before myself. And July of what would be my freshman year in college, he told me, I know your circumstance right now, and I know you weren't accepted to any school in New Jersey, but come this fall, you're going to be going to college in this state. He's like, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that you're going to college come this fall. It's almost August at this time, and school starts in September. In my mind, I'm thinking, how are you getting me into college in 1 month, in where I haven't been accepted to no colleges yet? That same day, Dean Jones comes and meets with me, and he tells me that he wants me here at Rowan University. And they slide me a piece of paper, and they say, you fill out this piece of paper, and you're accepted at Rowan University right now. Without knowing my grades, without knowing, my SAT scores, they're like, we want you here. We're gonna make sure that if you come here, you graduate. I always struggled academically, so I didn't know if this college thing would work for me. But I knew that I wanted better for myself, and I knew I wanted to be able to make an impact for people in my community, and I knew I couldn't do that without helping myself first. So I decided to come here at Rowan University And the university put me in a position to be the person I am today. They helped me find, my passion for not only helping people, but also my passion for business. While being at Rowan University, I started my nonprofit, Free All Minds Academy, a nonprofit that prepares boys of color from at-risk environments for life after high school, whether that be college or trade schools. At 19, 20 years old, when I'm telling my friends that I want to start a nonprofit, they're like, what is that? And how are you going to make any money? Like, it's literally in the name. Like, so I don't have the answer to those questions at the time, but I'm just like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, because this is what makes me happy. Impacting the lives of others is what makes me happy. And I know there's a such thing as making an income from running a nonprofit. I don't know how you do it, but I knew it was possible. So as long as I know it's possible, I felt as though I could do it. So during my time at Rowan University, while also focusing on my studies, I focused on figuring out how I was going to establish this nonprofit that would impact thousands of lives, this nonprofit that would allow me to do what I love to do for the rest of my life. And through every step of the way, people thought I was kind of crazy. They're like, you need to focus on your schoolwork, which is important, but they're like, you need to focus on your schoolwork and make sure that you're graduating and you're taking internships and you're preparing yourself to get a job after college. And I'm like, that's great and all, but I'm not gonna get a job after college. And that's that's a bad thing to do, because I would have loved to work as a teacher if I never had the desire to run my nonprofit. So I'm all for graduating from college and going into a career field that you love. But for me, the career field that I loved was me running a nonprofit. So in my mind, graduating from college and working somewhere else was not an option for me. It wasn't an option for me because I knew what I wanted to be doing for the rest of my life. And I took that risk. I took that risk and I put the time into building out my nonprofit, and some days it looked like I was going nowhere. I'm putting work in, I'm studying, I'm applying for grants, I'm looking for funding, I'm trying to build partnerships, and it just seems like I have no idea what I'm doing. Weeks of work, months of work, and no results at all, feeling like I was in the same space. But my ability to continue to show up every single day, even when I saw no results, no progress outwardly, is what allowed me to be here today. And for all of you that are sitting in front of me right now, your ability to continue to show up regardless of the results. I'm a basketball guy and I coach basketball. I tell my guys, continue to play regardless of the score. Your ability to continue to show up is what's going to separate you from your peers. Because honestly, most people need instant gratification. I do this, I get this back. I do this, I get this back. But if you have the ability to show up and put the work in, regardless of what else is going on, over time you will find yourself exactly where you're supposed to be. And I learned that right here at Rowan University. Continue to show up, continue to put the work in. Not being sure how this was going to happen, how this was going to work for me, but I know I'm going to continue to show up. And everything that I said that I was going to go on and do, I was able to do. Because I took that jump. I took that risk. And for anybody here that has a dream, you have something that you aspire to do, I'm telling you right now, you're going to have to take that jump. You're going to have to take that risk. And people that love you will sometimes shut down that dream of yours. And it's not always because they don't want what's best for you. It's because they want you to be safe. And honestly, doing what you love to do might not always be safe. It might not always be the safe thing to do. But doing what you love to do is what's best for you. Because you're going to spend the rest of your life working. Why not do something that you love? Why not do something that you're passionate about? Why not do something that keeps you up at night because you can't stop thinking about it? So that's what I challenge you to do. Show up every day consistently, regardless of the score, regardless of what's going on. Show up every day. and figure out what it is that you want to do, and figure out what it is that you love to do, and pursue that regardless of the outside noise, regardless of the people who are saying if you can do it or how it can be done, just get it done. Thank you.
Could we give one more round of applause for Ricardo? So just bear with me, I'm going to set this back up and then we'll get back to our program.
My daughter, my son,
Mostly nature, like butterflies, birds, cars. Yes. Because of what folks, the exactly. So you have place like a museum. Any questions? Nature, patient. Editing. All the organization. Like I said, I enjoy it. It's kind of swimming, but the end result is always. Also directing, that's what I'm saying. I like it. So I direct it. I told to say. Right. And when he didn't say it, I was shocked.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Of course, I'm going to never get the album.
Right.
Yes, that's so yeah,
I think that's
move
the
on.
person that does the photo ID. Right.
Yes, yeah, that's the same guy. He's the time. So I sent an email to him. He's like, I said, well, thank you for the pictures. But it's a smile. And he did, he probably felt some guys like he's serious.
just like no, just like service.
folks, we are all set. Thanks, Whitney. All right, so just a couple logistics as we'll kind of go through the program here. So we'll call the seniors along with their accompanying faculty member to the stage in order of the program. After the seniors presented by the faculty member, they will take a photo with the faculty member up here on stage, and then we'll encourage guests that they'd like to be in a photo. Will be taking that photo right here with your senior. So feel free as your seniors being presented, your students being recognized, don't feel like you have to rush. You can come right over as they're walking down. We'll recognize 4 seniors, well probably 3 seniors before dinner, and then we'll resume a little bit after eating. So, our first senior is not here yet. She'll be here a little bit later, so we're going to kind of go a little bit ahead here. So the Africana Studies Senior Distinction, Brianna Reagan, will be recognized after dinner. So we'll make sure that she's first on our list here. Okay, so. The next senior distinction is going to be Stephen Henderson, and Stephen is going to be recognized by Dr. Emily White. There we go. Come on up, Stephen and Dr. White.
Well, I am very pleased to introduce you all to Stephen Henderson. He's the American Studies Senior of Distinction. Like many Rowan students, Stephen is a non-traditional student. He started his initial degree in Gloucester County in 2000. So, but then at the 9/11 transformed his life. He decided to join the military and spent 13 years in the Air Force. But then he came back here in the summer of 2020, and that's when I met Stephen. So think back, summer 2020, what was the class like? It was on a computer, and it was all new to us. And Stephen was a student in my class, and his ability to engage in really deep conversations on this weird format and in a very stressful context, write a really lovely paper about the history of slavery and the Civil War was really, really impressive. And then I didn't see Stephen for a while, and then the history department, sort of the period that we were just starting to see each other in person again, we had these civil discussions where we bring together students to talk about important issues and build our ability to talk about difficult issues together. And I was on a group that was talking about foreign policy, and honestly, I didn't know it was Stephen. He was wearing a mask. Before that, he was a box. And, but there was a student, we were talking about foreign policy, and we talked about Afghanistan, and he let himself be vulnerable to all of us and share about what his experience was like being in that war, and it was so moving. And I did realize who he was eventually, but it was just so impressive that this young man was willing to share a very personal experience that I think the way that we talk about veterans is really sort of stereotypical, and he was willing to break open from there. And he has been very accomplished here at Rowan. He is not only an American Studies major, he's also a history major. He also, okay, I have to get the list so I don't forget any of them. He's also a minor in international studies, so he had 2 interdisciplinary studies degrees. Yay. He was a minor in political science. He had a certificate also in Middle Eastern studies, which I'm sure he came from sort of personal experience. One of the things that kept him from getting his degrees, he also was a father of 3 in this period, and I've gotten to meet his lovely wife. In his American Studies coursework, he has been an avid and thoughtful reader, a thoughtful writer. He engages with other students and makes connections. Anytime you talk to him, ability to make eye contact and talk to you one-to-one is so great. And I just want to close with words from Stephen. My education at Rowan has allowed me to move from my own perception to a better and evolving perspective of the world and my own country. It's like a bird's eye view instead of a narrowly focused one. That wider perspective is what we want him to learn as an American Studies major, and we're very proud of Stephen. Thank you.
So next we have Justin Bender as the Senior Distinction for Anthropology being recognized by Dr. Jane Hill.
Justin asked me to keep this short, so as with the previous student that was introduced to you tonight, Justin began his career here at Rowan during COVID lockdown, and something about the anonymous spaces that were created by those square classrooms on the screen in front of us seemed to have sparked an interest in him to explore those spaces in more depth. So one of the things we are very proud of him about is that he's integrating his anthropological training and life experiences to create something innovative in the study of other cultures. So he is a Pittman resident and graduate of Pittman High School, and following his graduation for some time that he's spent studying electrical engineering in Bremen, Germany, until his sister, who's here tonight, suggested that he try anthropology at Rowan, so we're forever grateful to her for that. Mr. Bender is interested in researching how virtual communities on the dark web influence the thoughts, behaviors, and identities of people inhabiting those spaces. And he has just recently accepted a graduate, an offer to go to graduate school at the University of Liverpool in England. And he has also tried out his research agenda on the Northeastern Anthropological Association conference that several of our students attended in April, earlier this month. And he presented a paper entitled Dark Web Social Norms and Taboos, a review of digital perceptions and behaviors. We expect great things from Justin in the future, and we're very proud to introduce him as our Senior Distinction for Anthropology this year.
All right, next we actually have one of our seniors who's being recognized by two different departments and programs. So Andromache Karapolidis, I hope I pronounced that right. Okay, good. Karapolidis is being recognized by Dr. Whitney Cox and Professor Chia Matsuru Dusk for the Senior Distinction for both Area Studies and World Religions.
For me to present one student with another professor. So I didn't even know Andromache has graduated with 3 majors until just recently. So for me, she was greatest student in my Japanese classes. So my story or my presentation is about how much she touched my heart as a student of Japanese program. So let's see. Andromaki was in my class for 5 consecutive semesters. So I wrote up the speech a week ago, and it was actually 5 pages. Because it's a language course. We have dramas, we share everything, and we share personal information. Now, I thought it's not fair because I read Dr. Fleming's email instruction. Your speech doesn't go over like 2 minutes. Make sure, but it's not fair. I should have 10 minutes. Yeah, so please do not start music for me to wrap up the speech. Anyway, so so I met her since spring 2020 in elementary Japanese. Then after 5 semesters, and then she went to Tokyo to study abroad for 1 semester, which was spring 2023. So, but for the first couple of semesters, she was so reserved and quiet in the class. Then her classmates were so outspoken, so she let outspoken classmates speak, and then she was sitting in the back. So I didn't know back then she would stay in my class for that long because she didn't seem very confident, and then I didn't know if she liked my class. Then one day she told me about her plan study abroad in Japan, and then my impression about her got changed. And she was so passionate about learning Japanese culture and then language. And then she was dedicated, determined, and then she worked so hard. And as she planned, Andromaki spent 1 semester in Tokyo in the Japanese language school. And while she was there, she wrote to me and saying that she had the best time of her life. And then she learned how to play Japanese musical instrument, koto, and also Japanese teachers in the Japanese school complimented her pronunciation. She said it was just because of my classes. Anyway, so I'm so happy that she was having a great time, and then I think that was one of her turning points, and then life-changing experience. After she returned, sorry, I'm taking your time. So after she returned, she was elected as to be a president of the Japanese Culture Club. And I didn't know she had such a great organization skills and leadership skills, because everybody in the Japanese Culture Club loved and appreciated her work. And then she became a mentor to a new Japanese president, Japanese culture president, which is right there, Francesco. Anyway, so she has everything. She has all kind of nice personality, beautiful personality, teamwork, and then she's so beautiful inside out. So when I think of Andromaki, I have one Japanese word came up. It still comes up. So she chose the word for her calligraphy piece practice when we had a calligraphy workshop 2 years ago. Do you remember what you wrote? No. Yeah. Hana. So she wrote hana. In Japanese, hana meaning flower. So I believe her artistic talent was really impressive, but at the same time, that really signifies her life or at Rowan. So whenever she bloomed like a beautiful flower at Rowan for the past few years. So whatever she chooses to do in the future, I know she will succeed and then make others happy with her dedication and wonderful personality, just like a blooming flower. おめでとうございます。
I wanted to let Dusk Sensei take the majority of this, but I do have two quick little stories about, and one of which is, I'm not even sure if you remember this, but the first time I met you was in a completely online class. Not even the little boxes, just utterly. Do you know how hard it is to distinguish yourself in an online class? And I'm reading these things she's writing, I'm like, do we get to keep her? Yes, we got to keep her. We got to keep her and send her off into the world. So, I mean, through writing, through thoughts, through careful and conscientious treatment of topics of world religions, which, let's be real, not always the easiest things to approach. Eddie absolutely distinguished herself and was completely just blew me away many, many times. The other thing being the time and sex in the Bible, great course, which is, so it gave students a lot of freedom to, you just sort of have to make up your own assignment. You have to find a thing you want to write about and write about it. And she comes up to me and she's like, so I want to talk about apocalypticism in this one K-pop video. Okay. And in fact, it was one of the best things that I read all semester. I never knew what the next sentence was going to say, but it was always spectacular. So, Andy and I do have, we'll set up a time to talk about where she goes next, hopefully in more religious studies stuff. But I can tell you right now that wherever she applies, she's going to get it. I will spoil that one for you because she is fantastic and we have loved having her, and we will enjoy watching what flower-like she becomes next. So, thank you.
We're going to rewind a little bit and so we'll invite Brianna Reagan, the Senior of Distinction for Africana Studies, being recognized by Dr. Chanel Rose.
So privileged to say that I got to experience Brianna live and in color, on the screen, so I feel very proud of that. So Brianna Reagan embodies the resilience, intellectual curiosity, grit, and commitment to excellence and social justice that we encourage in our Africana Studies majors. I had the wonderful opportunity to experience Brianna when she took my Civil Rights Black Power Movements course in the fall of 2023. And I say experience because if you've ever had a conversation with Brianna, you know that she is always very present and very passionate. During my class, she always greeted her classmates with this kind of exuberant, hello, which I think at first maybe was unusual for students who are so used to, they come in, sit down, and get on their smartphones until the teacher comes in, but that is not Brianna. When she comes in the room, she's a presence. And I think in a way they also appreciated that. She never shied away from sharing her thoughts on a particular topic, and I could see how the students were so impacted by what she would say, even if she had a different perspective from them. And I'll say also that, out of I think 25 students, they all had the option to write a final paper, and one of the other options was to write kind of a spoken word essay. And it was not surprising to me that Brianna was 1 out of 25 who's like, I'm gonna write this spoken word essay, because she's just a risk taker and she's always ready to take on a challenge. Despite some personal challenges that you would never know she faced, because of her positive disposition and her outlook, she consistently submitted thoughtful and serious work. Now, even though Brianna is mostly recognized for her role as student government president, she also served as an unofficial student ambassador for the Africana Studies program. She spoke so eloquently and passionately about the importance of the major at our Welcome Back reception. She gave powerful opening remarks at our annual Rosa Parks luncheon. She met with the provost to discuss the need for more diverse faculty and curriculum on campus. She imparted words of wisdom as a graduating senior to the BIPOC Graduate and Professional Student Association event that focused on sharing the importance of graduate school and getting an advanced degree. I've heard her speak at several events, and I always leave so impressed and thinking, okay, I need to do more. What are you doing, Chanel? She just has that effect on you when she speaks. She's such a presence. And so I'm so proud of you, Brianna. I look forward to hearing more about, your business ventures, journalism, but I know whatever you do, wherever you go, you will be successful.
So we are going to break for dinner for a little bit. So I just want to mention that the buffet on the back is double-sided, so you can go to either side. We have our folks from Gourmet who are going to help us kind of stagger the tables a little bit, so that way it's a little bit more manageable in the back. But we'll take a little bit of a break and we'll resume after everyone's had a chance to get some food. All right, thank you.
Anybody want to roll it?
Trip here. Either side or? Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, yes, I'm fine. I think I'm gosh, that's a little dangerous. Yeah. I didn't do anything bad. No, I never looked at my food. Yeah. You just never know.
Huh?
You're not going to feed her? Why don't the food is ready?
I got to make sure everything's set first.
And they can't ask you anything. But it's very Irish.
Chicken, right? You guys want to go up? Yeah. I was like,
Well, I say last week for family.
I think they was I'm gonna let you know that. No mercy.
Never have, never will.
Stop.
I would say, we're all wild. How's that? That winery over in Hampton. Or no, yeah, South Jersey. They got a golf course. They golf. Gary? But no, we have to work on Mother's Day and plan. We gotta hold the baby down there. But she didn't tell you her dog was a before we get really hot.
Well, I like horse
Yeah.
You were inspired.
You were inspired by that.
Well, I don't know. Lower your expectations. But be disappointed because I've seen some really good.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's do tomatoes. I mostly just have like some berries and things.
If it don't work, I get
Yeah, you go.
It's fun. It's fun to watch it grow.
It's like a new life. Bringing up new life.
But then when it fails, tomato seeds. And we went on family vacation. I could sprout one left. I watered all their own things. They were taking care of it.
All right, folks, so we will continue with our program. That's That certainly doesn't mean you can't go up and help yourself to seconds or dessert in the back or do whatever you need to do. But we'll continue with the formal program to try to keep us on schedule here. So our next senior distinction that we'd like to recognize is James Kincaid Cohen II, and he's being recognized by Professor Timothy Luco as a senior distinction for disaster preparedness and emergency management.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for having this great event. Food was absolutely amazing, and so was the company. Disaster Science Emergency Management would like to recognize James tonight and his amazing achievements throughout the program. We call him James, but at table 12, he's known as Charlotte's big brother. But I actually had James, obviously, since his freshman year. And he's always been one of those students that, you know, slightly more mature than the rest of the crew. And sometimes that's, you know, that's a pleasure to come across at times. I love all our students, but sometimes there's a handful of students who come in and they're all business, and James was certainly one of those from the start. Just a little bittersweet. You know, every year we welcome in new freshman students, and we're saying farewell for the most part to our graduating seniors. But when you spend so much time with students, or I have spent with James in a number of different classes, I had his very initial introduction to emergency management class, and here we are 4 years later, seeing him go off into the world, not just yet because he's in our master's program, so maybe in another year or so, but he absolutely is an A+ student across the board, and everything we've always asked of James, he's always tended not only to meet the standard, but to absolutely go above the standard every single time, whether it was a project of some sort or a smaller assignment. He always took it to the next level. I think James' work ethic is absolutely amazing. Yes, he's a senior here in the undergrad program, but this past semester, he's actually registered for 4 of our graduate master level program classes that he's taking right now, and he just nods about it, but it's a fairly big achievement. When I was doing my undergrad, I wasn't mature enough to do that. I could tell you there, just to be very honest with that. So I am absolutely in awe of his achievements. As I said, he's in our master's program now, so he's going to although he transitioned this past semester into it. And James, the future is incredibly bright for him, and we're really wishing him all the luck in the world. And thank you for picking us.
Next up is our Economics Senior of Distinction, Anthony Che, who's going to be presented by Dr. Jesse Melvin.
As the Economics Department Senior of Distinction. Anthony is a first-generation college student and a child of Guatemalan immigrants who raised him to have a strong work ethic and competitive nature. Although his family's financial situation led him to believe originally that maybe higher education was out of the picture, he ultimately graduated as salutatorian of his high school class in 2020 and received a full-ride scholarship to several institutions. Now, lucky for us, he picked us. Right, he chose to attend Brown University, where he consistently has achieved the Dean's List, as well as having the honor of serving as the United Latinos Association's treasurer, where he's gotten the opportunity to network with Latinos all across the Northeast, while also fostering a safe space for Latinos here on campus. I had the privilege of being Anthony's teacher for a couple semesters, and I can easily say that Anthony is one of the most hardworking and yet somehow very chill students that I've ever taught. His empirical research was very well thought out, very well written, which is always a pleasure. On top of that, I could always count on him to actively participate in statistics. Should tell you something, right? But overall, other than his fashion sense and shirts, he's just a fantastic student. And congratulations, we're proud to honor you.
All right, next up we have Victoria McGivern, who is our English Senior of Distinction, being presented by Dr. Kate Slater.
I am very pleased to present Victoria McGivern, the English Department's Senior of Distinction. When I think about Victoria, what comes to mind first isn't her brilliance or her kindness or her excellent writing skills, although to be clear, she has all of those in abundance, but her remarkable enthusiasm for learning. She truly loves taking in new ideas, a quality that I admire deeply and one I know will serve her well throughout her life. In every class, she's been my student, and I've been lucky enough to have her for 3 different classes. Victoria has always brought that trademark enthusiasm to every assigned text and discussion. I'll share one example. One day in my senior seminar on queer young adult literature, the class was considering the concept of queer as a verb. When we queer something, we deconstruct categorical or binary thinking. I remember Victoria, a former biology major, asking delightedly, so does that mean we could queer biology by questioning the assumptions that guide scientific inquiry? Yes, it does. The following conversation allowed the class to consider how the concepts we discuss apply not only to humanities-based subjects, but to STEM and social science subjects as well. A hallmark of Victoria's passion for learning is that it often benefits other students' learning. With Victoria in the classroom, we're always able to go to new places. It is entirely unsurprising to me that Victoria has channeled this immense intellectual enthusiasm into multiple extracurricular pursuits. A dual major in English and journalism, she's currently the editor-in-chief of The Wit, our campus newspaper. In addition to overseeing the WIT's daily operations, she's actively fought for the preservation and support of student journalism at Rowan, securing a total of $22,000 in donations and funding over the year of her tenure. This semester, she's also worked as a research assistant for 2 English department professors, Dr. Mon Hammond and myself. And somehow, alongside all that, Victoria still has time to be actively involved in Rowan's chapter of Tri Alpha, an honor society for first-generation university students. Just a few weeks ago, Victoria learned that she was accepted into UPenn's graduate program in higher education. She plans to devote her career to teaching at the college level with incarcerated and formerly incarcerated individuals. If this is what she's accomplished by the end of her time as an undergraduate, I can only imagine the incredibly bright future ahead of her. Congratulations, Victoria.
All right, our next senior of distinction is going to be our General Studies Senior of Distinction, Isaac Burton, who's being presented by Dr. Danielle Goujon.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so it is my great pleasure to introduce Isaac Burton as the Bachelor of General Studies Senior of Distinction. His story is a quite remarkable one. He was brought here to the U.S. from Ghana at the age of 14 for life-saving medical treatment by missionaries. He was later adopted by loving parents, including his father, who was one of those missionaries who came to know him. As you can imagine, being a teen boy and finding yourself halfway around the world in South Jersey with not knowing the native language would be quite a challenge. But Isaac rose to the challenge and embraced all the opportunities that were offered to him. He, since graduating, Haddon Heights? Yes, Haddon Heights school system. He has worked for over 2 decades in West Berlin Hospital, a demanding job for which he has been often recognized as an outstanding employee. And he simultaneously pursued his education with the goal of becoming a social worker for special needs children. Working full-time, going to school part-time, and having English as a second language has not been easy. He credits his success and work ethic to the encouragement and support he received from his parents. I was talking with him and asked him to tell me a little bit about his story, and I was really impressed by how much he still holds his parents' influence with him in the moment, and I wanted to just read a quote from what he said. He said, "Even though neither of them lived to see me earn my degree, I know they are both very proud of me, and they will get all of the credit they deserve in the autobiography that he is currently working on." And so I wanted to let you know, we see you, and we're very proud of you. We know that your family and your parents are too. Congratulations.
Next we have Francisca Lombardo, who is our History Senior of Distinction, being recognized by Dr. Jessica Mack.
To introduce you to our History Senior of Distinction for this year, Francesca Lombardo. Fran has impressed us on many fronts in the history department. Her excellent historical research, her commitment to education and to her own future career in education, and also outside of the classroom. Fran has done really excellent collaborative research work on a grant-funded digital history project. So she's been a real innovator on kind of the front lines of this new field. In the 2 classes I had with Fran, I was really struck by the historical research topics she chose, which always focused on stories that have been excluded from traditional education, traditional historical narratives. Tough histories around colonialism and marginalized communities, underrepresented histories. Such as, for example, one that comes to mind, her research paper she wrote in Caribbean history on the Obeah tradition in Jamaica and why the practice was made illegal by the British. She always came up with these really fascinating topics that were not often written on. As a student researcher for the Center for Digital Humanities Research, I've had the pleasure of working with her on the Juneteenth Archive project with Professor Blank, as well as part of the Douglas Day Transcribe-a-thon student team, where she worked exceedingly well with other team members. And that's something I always think of with Fran. She does excellent independent work. She's also done really good teamwork and collaborative work. And I think that's really a strength that'll serve her going forward. In all of these activities, Douglas Day, Juneteenth, all of these different projects, Fran continues to drive to make history more inclusive and more accessible. Her commitment to teaching and learning from different cultural perspectives really embodies what I think we hope for in the next generation of history educators. So I'm really excited about that and about Fran getting into her own classrooms. I wanted to share very briefly just a couple of lines from Fran's own words from a paper she wrote for my class on the Angel Island Immigration Station in San Francisco, California. In it, Fran wrote, quote, "There are so many stereotypes that have been developed and continue to be perpetuated. History education can be used as a tool to enlighten people and prevent this from happening in the future." Fran, your future students will be very lucky to have you as their teacher, and we can't wait to see what you accomplish. Congratulations.
Our next Senior of Distinction is our Human Services Senior of Distinction, Amira Brown, and she's being recognized by Professor Jaleesa Highlight.
Good evening. So it is my great pleasure tonight to present Damira Capri Brown, or affectionately known as Dee, with the Senior of Distinction Award for Human Services. So Dee is a one-of-a-kind student. When I first met Dee some time ago, she was very quiet, and I just knew that she had more to offer to our classes, to human services overall. So I could say for some time I pushed Dee, kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and finally she opened up, and her contributions to our classroom environment were amazing. After some time of getting to know Dee and really learning about who she was, I learned that she is a bright star in the city of Camden. She received a commendation award in 2023 from the city of Camden and was honored by their city council for the great volunteerism that she's provided to that city. It would be, I would fail to mention that she grew up in the city of Camden and she attended their school system as well. And so she continues to give back to them. Dee is not only a wife, a mother, a full-time employee, but also a full-time Rowan University student. And she never fails to come to class to engage with our students in a positive, strength-based way. I always tell our students in human services that you have to be ready to do this work. We are a boots on the ground type of major where you have to be ready to engage in that direct work in the community, and Dee has never been afraid to do that. She's always put herself out to the front of the crowd to do this work. So I'm just proud of Dee today. I always have a funny story about Dee because Dr. Joy is my mentor, and for some time Dr. Joy said, "You're gonna have to grow up one day. You have to grow up. You're going to have to be a mentor." And one day Dee claimed me as her mentor. And I'm like, oh no, I shut the computer screen, I shut the laptop, like, no, not yet, not yet. Dr. Joy said, yeah, we're done, like, it's time for you. So I appreciate her for making me step forward and take that responsibility on with students. And I'm so proud of you. I look forward to all of the things that you will accomplish one day in this field. Congratulations again.
Next we have our International Studies Senior Distinction James Sharkey, being recognized by Dr. Carla Lewandowski.
Good evening, everyone. I am keeping it to the 2 minutes because James and I both don't like being in the spotlight. As we honor the achievements of our graduating seniors today, I want to shine a spotlight on James Sharkey, representing the program of International Studies. I unfortunately never had the honor of having him as one of my students. I only got to advise him as the program advisor for International Studies for his dual degree in International Studies and an MBA, but he really distinguished himself as a standout student, embodying the values of curiosity, diligence, and respect. And many of his professors had a lot of really amazing things to say about him. For example, Dr. James Schrader commended his engagement in class discussions and said his passion for learning and his dedication to excellence were evident in his paper on the exploitation of foreign players in professional baseball. So if you haven't figured it out, he also has a love of sports, which he is bringing together with International Studies, which is phenomenal. His originality and thorough research truly impressed his professors. Furthermore, James's commitment to seeking feedback and his eagerness to learn demonstrate a maturity beyond his years. With his upcoming MBA in Data Analytics from Rowan University, James is poised to make a significant impact in the sports industry, leveraging his diverse perspectives gained from International Studies and from the College of Business. James, your dedication to excellence serves as an inspiration to us all. Congratulations on your graduation, and may your future be filled with continued success and fulfillment. Thank you.
Next up is our Senior Distinction for Law and Justice Studies, Jacqueline McCarty, being presented by Dr. Christine
Hello. I thought we had to stick with the speech and the brochure, so I've been trying to pull stuff together, little stories. But we are so excited. I'm really excited to present Jacqueline McCarty to you today. She is our Senior of Distinction for the Law and Justice Studies Department, and she's also one of my favorite all-time students. I was unlucky, though, to only have had her in class toward this semester, so towards the end of her time at Rowan. However, she's also in our 4+1 advanced dual degree program, so she'll be getting her master's degree next year. So she'll be around, and so I know we'll be interacting and maybe working on a paper or something together. She's that good. She, like some of the other professors are saying, it's so nice to have a student that is always engaged in class and ready, and she comes with her binder with all the articles that I've assigned, and she's just that student that just is, when no one's saying anything and you ask a question and she's got her hand up and just so intelligent and enthusiastic. I think that's one of my favorite things about her. Now I'm not saying anything about her history of, she's a first-generation college student, and she's one of the highest ranking highest ranked graduating seniors, and she has been great. In addition to a great student, she's been really active with extracurricular activities, and I will read the Criminal Justice Preparation Club, the Law and Justice Debate Club, the Mock Trial Club, the Pre-Law Society, Phi Alpha Delta Honor Society, and there's actually several more. She's also volunteered a lot on campus. She's worked at the Student Center and was promoted to building manager. She's worked at Olive Garden. She's very busy. In addition, we require one internship for our majors. She has done 4. So again, this is the type of student she is. So she's a real Okay, sorry about that interruption. I do love the music though. Let's see. Okay, so just really quick, Jacqueline interned for John McCain's campaign in Pennsylvania. That was her first internship, and her next 3 internships have been in the field of reentry in South Jersey. And she's been great also to have in class on criminal justice policy because she's actually been working in the agencies that I discuss in class. So a lot of times I'll say, so what has been going, is this accurate? What has been happening? And so again, wonderful. She also is a seasonal class 1 law enforcement officer and I think another type of officer, but you get the picture. When she wrote her essay, her award-winning essay, out of all the great students we had to choose from, she said she wanted to be a probation officer, possibly in the future. And I think that we have talked her into getting a PhD, although having that experience, if you do want to be a probation officer, is great as well. I just also want to mention she's also brought another professor with her here tonight, Professor Mark Alongo from our department, and they have a special relationship. I tried to get him to come up and do the speech. He said, no, thank you. But when he first started teaching at Rowan, she was in his class. And so they kind of grew together and have a good relationship, special relationship. And I'm probably forgetting some important thing that I wrote. Oh, I wanted to end with what she wrote at the end of her essay. I thought was really nice. And she wants to do so much, but she also says that she wants to give back to Rowan in every way possible because it has done so much to foster her at the scholar, professional, and person that I am today. So congratulations.
Spoiler alert. So, our next Senior of Distinction who's being recognized is going to be Grace Mulligan, our Liberal Studies Senior of Distinction who's being awarded by Professor Tiffany Tillman.
Tonight, but I've been joking with her and her family that I feel like I already know her because I have just heard such wonderful things about Grace from her academic advisor, from Dr. Blank, from Professor McCann, and a lot of other professors who have had the pleasure of having Grace in their classes during her time at Rowan. Grace has completed sequences in the Liberal Studies program in Sociology and Health Studies that have inspired her to pursue a career in social work. Grace is best described by her professors as enthusiastic, passionate, brilliant, and dedicated, not only to her studies, but also to helping others. All qualities which I have already seen in just meeting you tonight, Grace. Grace, Professor McCann said it was delightful having you as a student and actually shared your 50-plus page research proposal on the campus community's perception of the Clery Act requirements with me, and I am very excited to read it. Professor McCann also complimented your dedication, organization, and willingness to give freely of your time to support and encourage your fellow classmates. In getting to know you a little more, I've also learned about your commitment, that your commitment to helping others extends well beyond just the classroom. Grace is the undergraduate coordinator of Rowan Shop Food Pantry, and she also has extensive volunteer experience in the wider community. It is clear that you will go on to make a great impact in the field of social work, and I am so thrilled to recognize you for this award this evening. And also, Grace has been accepted to the Master of Social Work program here at Rowan. Congratulations, Grace.
Next, I'd like to invite Victoria Lopinson as the Modern Languages and Linguistics Senior of Distinction presented by Dr. Merriman here.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm very honored to present to you our Modern Languages and Linguistics Senior of Distinction, Victoria Lopinson. She is a superstar for us in many ways. So she actually graduated in fall 2023. So she's had a little bit of time to look ahead to what's coming next. She did graduate with her advanced language in Japanese, Italian as her intermediate language, and French as her novice language. She also graduated with a second major in psychology and a minor in international studies. And she also had the experience of studying abroad at KCP International in Tokyo, Japan. And we have seen time and time again how studying abroad really transforms students and how it's such a wonderful eye-opening experience for them. She was also very involved on campus while she was here in a variety of different clubs. I'm so excited for her moving forward in terms of what she has in store. She has applied to graduate school in linguistics programs, and I was talking with her tonight that they're kind of fighting over her. And she has some different options that she can choose from. I really enjoyed having her in my Introduction to Anthropological Linguistics class. I found that she had many, very thoughtful, mature contributions to the class. She was very, reflective in her ideas and her comments, and she had also the opportunity to expand the research that she did with her group in class, looking at heritage language speakers. So she visited different language classrooms and surveyed the students who were heritage speakers of their languages to find out, how they felt, the language classes were serving them, or, how they may improve in terms of, serving the specific needs of heritage language students. So that was wonderful, and I had also the pleasure of working with her during office hours to work that research into her graduate essay that she submitted to the schools as well. And so I know she has tremendous potential. I can't wait to see, what she does. She's interested in combining her fields of specialization, so she wants to focus on psycholinguistics. so the combination of psychology and linguistics. She's also very interested in second language acquisition and multilingualism. So I just can't wait to see what happens next. Just a fun fact about her is that she collects vinyl records, and she loves botany. One of her offers is from University of Hawaii, and so if she goes there, I think she'll have a lot of fun seeing the plants. So please join me in congratulating her again.
Next up, we have Clifford Phillips being recognized as a Philosophy Senior Distinction, and presenting Clifford is going to be Dr. Matt Martin.
Right, it's my great honor to present Clifford Phillips as the Senior Distinction in Philosophy. And like many of the previous faculty members, this occasion makes me have to recall really fun moments from the pandemic. And so I ended up teaching a course in person in spring of 2021, and I walked into this classroom with 3 people wearing masks, and in this dreary, bleak environment, I happened to meet Cliff for the first time, which was a wonderful thing in the end. And not only did Cliff excel in my Intro to Symbolic Logic class, but he was always asking me metalogical questions that went far beyond just the ordinary subject matter of the course. And luckily, with only 3 of us, 4 of us, including me, we had time to discuss these things. Over the years, then, after this, I became very, I wouldn't even say impressed, I was sort of bowled over by Cliff's many talents, his versatility. Seems to know everybody, knows everybody at the dean's office. He works there extensively. Possesses great maturity and organizational capacity. It's really, really exceptional. So one of the things Cliff did was he resurrected our philosophy club and brought it to heights that we never would have dreamed of. You know, so this club is one of the real signature clubs on campus. I think when people go to college, they think they might sit around and talk about the big questions, and they do this every couple of weeks, and it's a great, great success. Cliff has also worked in the department. He's worked as a research assistant. He even put up with looking up ancient Greek and Latin references in astronomy for me, and kept doing it, so I really appreciate that. And I think in general, Cliff brings something so interesting to the table. Every class I've had him in, which there have been many of them, he tends to kind of mold how the whole community functions in the class. He makes the class better, and it's a fun, interesting, humorful sort of class. I think part of this is because Cliff has the good taste to be a Midwesterner. I think people trust him, and they're interested in him. And so he's done so wonderful, such wonderful work in class. And I'd like to say we'll miss him when he goes, but he's created such a durable, lasting structure of serious intellectual engagement that we probably won't miss him at all, but in actuality, we'll miss him tremendously. So, thank you.
So we have the pleasure of having Dr. Danielle Goujon come back up, and we're going to recognize our Political Science Senior of Distinction, Emily Sobrine.
to present the award on behalf of Dr. Ann Pluta, who is a faculty member of the Political Science Department, but she couldn't be here tonight. And she wrote some lovely remarks about Emily. She knows her as a student very well, and actually Emily is serving currently as a research assistant and working on an interesting project. So it's with great pleasure that the Political Science Department recognizes Emily as our Senior of Distinction. She's made very significant contributions throughout her time here at Rowan. She's an excellent student, and she's also a really engaged community member. And I have to say that I've had Emily in class, and she's just, like Matt just mentioned, a student who really brings a different level to the classroom. She's engaged, she's excited, and it just she takes everyone up with her. She's also a great connector. So she, I noticed, really brought a sense of community to my class, and I think I had you maybe 2022, so we were still coming out of the pandemic, and a lot of students didn't know each other, and she connected them all, and now we have this great political science student cohort, so I really want to thank you for that, and we feel the lasting effects of that as our students continue to build those relationships. But back to her many other things that she does. She was awarded the Trustee Transfer Scholarship and has received numerous academic accolades, including being named to the President's List, the Dean's List, the Presidential Scholar of Excellence. She's pursued her local dance through Rowan Rangila, emphasis. A Bollywood fusion dance team for which she served as senator, costume coordinator, and co-choreographer. After participating in the International Model African Union and the National Model United Nations, Emily and a few of her fellow students founded the Model Diplomacy Organization with the purpose of expanding opportunities to attend diplomacy conferences. As co-founder and vice president, Emily has had the opportunity to attend conferences across the country with the organization. She's also an active member of the Pre-Law Club, the Rowan Democrats, and the Political Science Club, and she plans to go to law school in the future, but I think she might be involved in politics because I see her as this wonderful connector who brings people together. So we're looking forward to seeing what she does next, and I know she'll be building those wonderful communities for us.
So next we have our Sociology Senior of Distinction, Anna Green, being presented by Dr. Sandy Sway.
Good evening, everyone. It is my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you Anna Green, the Senior of Distinction for our Department of Sociology. She's actually receiving 2 degrees, though. She's a dual major, Sociology and Law and Justice, and I just met her this year. I was a little disappointed, very disappointed, actually. It was a bittersweet moment to meet her. I was on sabbatical last year, so I didn't get to meet her till this year, but I was thrilled that she took both of my classes this semester. So this poor woman had to sit through 2 of my classes. She was in both my senior seminar on race and social justice and the field experience class, where she did an internship with the national hotline, crisis hotline, and with working with people who have suicidal ideation. Wrote a wonderful paper, gave an excellent presentation about some of the things she learned during that internship about the causes of suicide. And for my race and social justice paper, wrote an excellent paper about the racial disparities and racism found within our foster care system. But let me tell you a little bit about her. She, first of all, is an excellent, very brilliant student. In my classes, I have to say, she was always engaged, even if she wasn't, which she often participated. She was locked and nodding, and I felt like, you know, she's the kind of student you want to gravitate to look at because she's highly engaged throughout the entire class. always dependable, always there, and when she did open her mouth, had brilliant things to say. So I'm going to miss her in my classes. However, I'm very happy to tell you she's decided to come back to Rome to get her master's in social work. So I will be seeing her around, and she plans to get her LCSW and work with children and adolescents who are struggling with suicidal ideation. She managed to get almost a 4.0 here, 3.999. I don't know which one of my colleagues entered the wrong grade for her, but she should have been a 4.0. Somebody messed up, I guess, because she's absolutely brilliant. And she's in 3 honor societies. Most recently, we initiated her at our banquet last week into the Alpha Kappa Delta International Honor Society of Sociology. She's also a part of the National Law and Justice Honor Society and National Honor Society for Transfer Students. Again, I'm very sad to just be meeting her for her to leave. I'm thrilled that she'll be coming back with us. So in her spare time, you might find her working out or cuddling up with a book and her 3 cats. And I don't know where she has spare time to be this excellent, but she manages to find it. So with that, I would like to thank Anna for being such a wonderful student. We're going to miss you, but I look forward to seeing you around in the coming semesters with the grad school. So thank you so much. Papers to give her. I considered, not failing her, so she'd have to come back, but she's coming back anyway, so. She's joined by her wonderful parents tonight, so if you want to join us, some pictures.
And last but certainly not least, we have Jennifer Mendez being recognized as the Spanish Senior of Distinction by Dr. Marilyn Manley.
It's also my honor and pleasure to introduce Jennifer Mendez as our Spanish Senior of Distinction. She's graduating this semester with a dual degree in K-12 subject matter education in Spanish. She's also completing her honors concentration and a certificate of undergraduate study in teaching English as a second language. I am very impressed with Jennifer's leadership ability and positive attitude that she's brought to our classes. She's also been very active in our National Collegiate Hispanic Honor Society, which is called Sigma Delta Pi. And I'm very excited also for her in terms of what she has coming next. This summer, she's participating in an exciting opportunity with the College of Education, Dr. Stephanie Abraham. She's going to be traveling to Oaxaca, Mexico, to work on a project involving indigenous Zapotec communities. And culturally and linguistically responsive pedagogies in the local schools there. She already has some options as well for employment. She's interested in teaching in South Jersey, either Spanish or English. And she is the first in her immediate family to graduate college or university. One of my special memories about Jennifer is from my introduction to Hispanic linguistics class. She also had an opportunity to expand one of the projects that we had in the class. Her group was looking at code switching, which is switching between different languages, sometimes within a sentence or between sentences. And she wanted to investigate the problem of persisting negative views among educators and the general public about code switching. But she argued very persuasively in her paper that she did use also for the honors concentration that code switching should be viewed positively, and I definitely agree, because you really do need to have a high level of proficiency in order to switch, among languages in a way that makes sense, to keep that cohesion in each one. So I really enjoyed her project in that class and mentoring her with that. And I know she will have fantastic opportunities. She's doing also student teaching in a high school, and her students are going to miss her very much. She's been doing a great job there teaching Spanish. So please join me again in congratulating Jennifer.
Can we give one last round of applause for all of our seniors and distinctions? So I've been here for about 8 years now, and it's funny because one of the things I feel like I've learned most is that you tell faculty half the time you're actually allotting for the speeches. And to say that is that we've stayed on time. In fact, we have a few minutes to spare, believe it or not. And I do want to say that I'm so impressed with all of you in hearing about your accomplishments. I'm no longer growing myself, but I always say at this event, I feel like I did nothing after hearing everything that you all have done. So we do want to get a group picture of all the seniors. So as we close up, if our seniors of distinction wouldn't mind sharing a group photo with the dean over here, we're going to ask them maybe borrow a few chairs in this general vicinity, and Will help coordinate that. Otherwise, we will be sharing all the pictures that Will's taking with you via the email to the students, so I hope to be able to get that to you by next week. And lastly, I do hope to see all of you at commencement if you are participating. It's one of our favorite events of the year, and we're looking forward to sharing it with you. So thank you all for joining us tonight, and safe travels home. Thank you.